Welcome to the PrepZone Show 2022, presented by Bevill State. My name is Johnathan Bentley. I'm joined by my co-host, Zach McCullar. Another week in the books, Zach.
Yeah, it was not a bad week at all.
No, I mean, we had some good games.
Yeah, we had a few good ones.
Meek won again.
Yeah, well, that's getting to be normal now.
And some of the teams lost again.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that too much, though.
Let's jump in with the Players of the Week. Another big week for a couple people. Colin Page now has 6 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks now.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
He's closing in on 1,000 yards.
He is. Yeah, and you don't see Curry players doing that a lot because they have not had a lot of success. This year they've got 2 wins, and while some places wouldn't define that as successful, at Curry that is very successful.
Yeah, huge. I mean, they had a chance for 3, but I think they'll take 2. But
yeah,
Colin Page, we'll start with him even though he's on the bottom here. He was our co-player of the week with Sean Pryor, and he had 257 yards.
That's a lot. I mean, you don't hear about receivers getting that kind of yardage.
Yeah, especially, I mean, they lost the game, but you can't deny these.
Right.
He did his part.
He did more than his part.
And then Pryor had more than 400 yards of offense as they beat Cordova. They needed that win big time.
They really needed that because Dora, this has been the inconsistent team where you don't know if they're going to win the game or lose the game. You don't know which Dora's going to show up. And this week we got the good Dora.
Yeah, that was their best performance by far.
Yes.
They've always had the defense. They actually had the offense this week.
Right, and you hear defense wins championships. Not really anymore. I mean, you have to have an offense.
The 92? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That team won it on a championship.
They did.
Defense. Okay, let's go to last week's games. We kind of touched on this already. Did that Meek game jump out at you?
It was a 20-point margin of victory, which is the same amount of time it's been since Meek has beat Addison, 20 years. Addison put up 24 points on the Meek defense. That is, not a whole lot, but it's a number that does not make a lot of sense. But Meek, they absolutely trampled Addison's defense. I mean, 44 points. Cam Deaver had another big game. Really, you don't expect to see years like this with Addison, where they just have not looked excellent.
Yeah, you understand why it took them overtime to beat Good Hope now.
Yeah. And
how Winston County, their 2 losses were more than 20 points to Winston County and 20 to Meek, your 2 biggest rivals.
Right.
That's their only losses. I mean, they're still pretty good.
They're a good team. They're going to make the playoffs.
They'll be probably the 2 seed.
Oh, yeah.
In that region. But yeah, Cam Deaver could have easily been player of the week.
He
could have been 3 of them. He had close to 200 yards again.
Cam Deaver could be player of the week every week except for Meek's bye. And then again, he might still get a bunch of yardage then.
When you're averaging over 220 yards a game, yeah, that stands out. Any other games jump out at you? What about this? Well, we talked about Dora already. It was 42-6 at one point.
Yeah, and Cordova was able to put together kind of a late rally to make it respectable. But the game that jumps out to me the most here, and there are 2 of them. First, we're going to start with the one that doesn't jump out to me as much. That's South Lamar shutting out Sumiton Christian by the great whopping score of 7-0.
Wow.
Offense disappeared in that game. Sumiton Christian's got another tough one this week.
That was the lowest scoring game in the state last week.
Really?
7-0. Absolutely.
Man alive. I mean, it's about.
That was a halftime score. They just couldn't. You figure somebody's going to break through.
Oh yes, because you don't see scores ending you don't see games ending with scores like that.
3-2 would be a little bit crazier.
It would be a little bit crazier, but at least both teams scored in that game.
That's true. But Northside finally gave Corner a loss.
Yeah, Corner, I saw it coming because Northside's really good. But
they are good.
Corner, they're not out of it. They could go 9-1 this year, and they could make a long run in the playoffs. But the game that stood out to me the most on this was the upset. Lynn taking down Pickens County. The Tornadoes fall in overtime, 21-20. I didn't see that happening.
And what's crazy is Pickens County was ranked. Lynn beats them. Lynn doesn't get ranked.
Yeah, that's
it goes back to the Alabama Christian.
It goes back to that one game, which is, if it had been close, they'd be ranked right now.
But yeah, that was I was at that one. It was a Thursday night game. Pickens drives all the way to the 1, and they get a penalty. Then they fumble.
Ugh.
Lynn had the longest drive I've ever seen, 24 plays.
Oh, goodness.
10 minutes off the clock.
Oh, my.
So they took over at 10:15. They gave it to Pickens at 15 seconds. They didn't even score on that 24 play.
But they kept Pickens County from scoring.
And then they won in overtime on that extra point.
You don't see 1A schools kicking extra points very often, do you?
No, I was kind of surprised.
I was too, but that's a sure way to win a game.
Yeah, it worked.
It sure did.
All right, let's talk about our power rankings, top 5. We don't go through those bottom 7, but we do talk about the top 5.
Number 5, they were ranked a lot higher last week, and they fell, but they were just able to grab and hang on so they can stay in my rankings. The Corner Yellow Jackets, they had that loss to Northside, 14 points to one of probably the most consistent team in this part of the state. And Gordo is the only team that I think could rival them, maybe Winfield. But Corner, they're still really good. Like I said, they can go 9-1, make a long run in the playoff. They're going to stay at 5, and they have not a tough game, but definitely a losable game this week. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, that's true. I have Dora. I wanted to stick a Walker County team back in this top 5. It's been a while.
It has been a good
and they're only
while.
3-3. But I think they finally, they still have Northside up.
They do.
Not this week, but next. But I think they've turned the corner with this 42
I think they have. I mean,
I hope so.
Offensively, like you said, they've been extremely slow. To see that half of their team catching up, it's really going to be dangerous for the teams left on Dora's schedule.
Yeah, I agree. Who do you have at 4?
Number 4, I have another team who lost this week. I've got Addison. All right, they lost to Meek. Meek is ranked, and where are they right now? 6?
Up to 7.
They're at 7, okay. That's not a bad loss, even though it was 20 points. I'm going to keep them at 4. I was kind of debating back and forth about who should take 4th spot, Addison or Corner. I gave Addison the nod just because they've had a tougher schedule.
Yeah, they have. And I have Corner there, which you already spoke of. They could go 9-1. That would be something.
Yeah, I mean, especially after last year's performance.
Yeah, who would have ever thought that? Okay, what about number, what are we at, 3 now?
We're at 3, and I have the Lynn Bears sitting at 3 after their win against Pickens County. And I hate that we have to go back to this game over and over, but it was that Alabama Christian game that's why they're not number 2. That's a game that's regrettable, but, I mean, what? That would put them undefeated if they'd have won that.
This because of, I think it was because of R.A. Hubbard. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it was.
It was. So it's R.A. Hubbard's fault. It's a shame the school had to close, though. Yeah, they did. They messed up 10-team schedules when you think about it.
Yeah, it's a shame that, they had to play Alabama Christian, which is coming from Montgomery that was a 4A last year. Yeah, I'd almost rather have had the 2 open weeks.
I would have rather had 2 open weeks.
But he put somebody on. I give him credit.
I give him, yeah.
They probably knew they weren't going to win that game.
Right, it was to find out where they were. And, if you try to judge where you're at by that game, you'd think Lynn wasn't as great as they really are. But they are a very good ball club.
I have Winston County as my 3, just kind of doing what they do.
Rolling.
Yeah. He said they went very vanilla. They were playing Cold Springs. It was 24-0. They just kind of rolled and, didn't show anything. They started big games coming up. What about number 2?
At number 2, I've got Winston County. Winston County, like you said, they've been doing what they always do. They just run all over you. They'll run down your throat. You know it's coming. It's your turn to stop it. And only Solent has this year, it looks like. And they are a really good team. And to think the smaller schools up in Winston County, you have 4 small schools up in Winston County that we cover at the Daily Mountain Eagle. Meek, Winston County, Lynn, Addison. Those are my top 4.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
I mean, it's amazing.
And Corner was your other.
Corner is the other, and they are Jefferson County.
Yes. Unbelievable. But I think we have the top 2 the same here. We'll have Lynn as my 2. You already had them.
Yeah, I got them at 3.
And, we talked about it. It was an incredible game. Big win. They went crazy.
Huge game.
I've seen where fans run on the field. Lynn kind of did their own. The football team was the one celebrating. They were dancing. Yeah, nobody came on the field.
That shows class when no one swarms. Yeah, that shows class when no one swarms the field.
Yeah, act like you've been there, right?
Yeah.
They've been there. It's been a while, though.
It has. It has been a good while. It's been, 2018 maybe?
Yeah, they were really good.
They went undefeated. They were the number 1 team in the state, went undefeated till they lost in the 2nd or 3rd round of the playoffs.
Always run into Pickens, which, they beat them.
Hey, that was
them this year.
That was the one pitfall on their schedule that I would have said they were most worried about. They took care of them.
Yeah, it was a good game. I think we have the same number 1.
Yeah, it's Meek again, as always.
Maybe all season?
They have been. Nobody's cracked number 1 yet besides Meek. It's ridiculous because you go 1-19 2 years straight, about 2-3 years ago. You don't expect this kind of turnaround. You really just don't see it.
Yeah, he inherited a winless team. And that first year was a slow build. Last year was better, and this year is through the roof. I mean, 6-0, and
Man,
it would be a
ranked.
huge upset if they lost a regular season game.
I mean, the only team that I think can beat them is Oakman, and Oakman's just because they have more depth. And again, I don't think Oakman's going to be able to win that game.
Yeah. Last year's Oakman, now that would have been a different story.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very young Oakman team. Which, okay. Let's go into kind of it's past the halfway point, but I think this is a pretty easy question. Who is the front runner for a player and coach of the year around here?
Well, at player, it's probably Cam Deaver, and I say probably it is definitely Cam Deaver.
Right.
Coach, there's not much of a gap between 1 and 2 in this. Houston Powell, I would say, is number 1 right now. DJ Emerson, I think, would be pretty close behind. I mean, you get DJ Emerson gets 2 wins at Curry. He has been winless at Curry for a while. He could have left and gone to go be a coordinator at a school that wins. Yep. He had his pick of stuff he could do, but he stuck around, and now he's reaping the benefits.
Yeah, I'm glad he's there. I think they're fortunate to have him too. I would also say Lynn Hastings now.
Oh,
I think they were 2-8 in his first year.
They were.
He will turn a team around.
He can.
And usually that first year is bad, like at Oakman. I think the first year was bad, the second was a little bit better, and boom, there they go.
And they were amazing.
Yeah, they've been really, really good. Kel Tittle is a great player.
And another coach, Mark Mitchell, he could take a swing at that Coach of the Year award as well.
Yeah, it all will come down to probably the playoffs for all these teams.
Yeah, it will.
Okay, now let's go head into this week's games. There's kind of some big ones, kind of some stinkers in here.
Right.
Let's start with Jasper at Carver. Who would you take in that one?
In this one, I was going back and forth, but I saw a stat. Last week, Jasper wins. They beat Hayden 27-15, right?
25-13.
25-13, something like that. It was a 12-point game.
It's a weird game.
Carver plays Hayden. They played them a little while earlier. Hayden won 25-0. So that just shows something. You have to look at common opponents with picking high school games. So I think Jasper's going to be able to steamroll this one.
Yeah, I think that'll be 4 in a row if they win this game.
It would, and that's amazing because they start 0-3.
And looked bad.
They did look bad, and now they've just turned it around.
Yeah, I think they're headed to the playoffs.
They should.
They could be the 3 seed. If they win this game, they should. They still have Pleasant Grove out there. That'll be tough. Hamilton at Dora, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, Dora's going to win. Hamilton, they snapped their long losing streak against Curry.
I hate that.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen Curry get that win. If Curry could have gone 3-7 this year, that would have just been amazing.
Unbelievable, yes. Hamilton 1-5, Dora 3-3.
Yeah.
All right, Cordova 2-4 at Northside 5-1.
Cordova needed an easier opponent coming off of that tough loss to Dora. Now you get Northside, who just ended Corner's hopes of going undefeated. It's at Northside. That's just going to be too tough an ask to ask of Shane Smothers and the Cordova team to pull that one off. I've got Northside winning.
Yeah, me too. It'd be nice to see them upset Northside.
That would be a pretty big upset.
That would really throw a kink into things.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Oak Grove 3-3 at Corner 5-1. That's a big rivalry. This is a 70th meeting between those two.
70 meetings. That is a lot of football been played. With big rivalries, you expect to see close games. Not in this one. I've got Corner winning big.
Yeah, Oak Grove 3-3 is a really good start.
That is a good start.
Year.
Yeah, they were the team that always played Curry every year and went 1-9 because that was their only win.
Yes.
And now both teams are winning.
And don't they play Carbon Hill to end the year?
Yeah, that is a Thursday night game at Oak Grove.
Okay, be interesting.
Yeah,
Speaking of Carbon Hill, 0-6 at Winfield 5-1. When's the last time they won this game?
It's been a while. I can't remember last time they beat Winfield.
We'd have to go to the record books.
Oh, we would have to.
We have no idea.
5 years ago, they kept it close. It was a 21-point game. They kept it close because I think it was homecoming, and they played well. They played well last week for playing the number 2 team in the 3A. You lost 56-14 with a pretty beat-up Carbon Hill team because they've been dealing with injuries all year. And so I think Carbon Hill, they have a chance to kind of make it close and kind of shock people. They could keep in it for a half. Last year, you saw a 51-0 score at the half, and they went on 3-minute quarters, running clock in the second half, got us out there in less than 10 minutes.
Let's hope we don't have that.
I hope not. Running clock, I expect to see that, but not 3 minutes.
You almost want to leave at that point.
Yeah, you do.
Not even after halftime. Marion County 4-2 at Summit Christian 3-3. It's a big game.
This is a big game.
One of the biggest games on here.
Yeah, and I think it'd be obvious picking Marion County if it was at Ewan. Because it's in Sumiton, I think it's going to be closer. But I've got the Red Raiders winning this one. I can't see Summit Christian pulling this off, though you could see an upset in this one.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, their defense is playing well.
Their defense is playing well, and this is another young team in the county.
Yep. I picked some Marion County, but I'd really love to see somebody Christian. They got to have it pretty much at this point. Shoals Christian at Meek. Shoals Christian is 2-3. Their wins are against Vina and Cherokee. So.
Yeah, they have this easy. It's the region that they're in. It's one of those. Half of it is going to be a cakewalk. The other half is going to be like trying to drive a Jeep through a brick wall.
Yeah, exactly.
And by Jeep, I mean an 80-year-old Army Jeep that's been in the museum for 30 years and nobody's driven it since Vietnam or something like that. It's going to be an impossible ask for Shoals Christian to win this.
Yeah.
I got Meek winning. I mean, it could be 60 to nothing.
It's a name your score kind of
thing. It
game.
is, really.
All right, Winston County at Tuscaloosa Academy. Tuscaloosa Academy, kind of surprising, 4-1. This is their first year.
This is their first year in
AHSAA. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been AISA for the last 20-something years.
Yeah, a while. They were pretty good at it too.
And now they're 4-1. They've looked pretty good. It's down in Tuscaloosa, so it's going to be kind of a tough road trip for Winston County. But I've got Winston County winning this one.
I do as well. Should be 6-1, which is
that would be a really good season.
All right, Lynn at Brilliant. This is kind of like that Meek game.
Yeah. All right, Brilliant's been outscored 311 to 16 this year.
Yeah, and 6 games they've scored. How many? 11 points.
They've scored 2 touchdowns. They do two touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions. That's it.
Wow, averaging a little bit over 2 points a game.
So Lynn could win this 70 to nothing if they don't put it on a running clock.
Yeah, this will be another name your score kind of. Kel Tittle will get his stats in the first half probably.
He will.
That'll be the end of it. Okay, we're done with high school. Let's talk a little about Alabama and Auburn. Alabama got a big game this week.
They do, and I didn't think it's going to be that close, but now Bryce Young's questionable. That throws some of it into a little bit of doubt, doesn't it?
Well, does it? I mean, what's the backup
Jalen Milroe. He is
absolutely
built like Derrick Henry, and he can throw pretty good.
And he can fly.
He is a good runner. He's a running back with a good arm. That's what he is. So, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, you'd rather have Bryce out there, but...
You would, because Bryce Young is better under pressure. You saw Milroe, when it started to get close, Milroe kind of panicked a little bit, and he wasn't performing well. He was throwing bad passes. But if worse comes to worse, all you have to do if you're the quarterback of Alabama, turn around, hand it off, because that's enough to win a game. With Jahmyr Gibbs and Jason McClellan heading the running back stable, I mean, you don't have too many worries.
Gibbs is a Georgia Tech guy.
He
is. Isn't it crazy how good this guy is?
Well, I think it's indicative of how bad Georgia Tech was.
Exactly.
Also, yeah, they fire their coach, and they have a tough game against Pittsburgh. Well, what do? You go out and win.
Win the game. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Jeff Collins needed to get fired from that. That was just starting to turn into a nightmare.
Speaking of fired, we are on Auburn now, which I'm supporting with my shirt.
Yes, you are.
It's not on purpose, but I do have my Auburn shirt on. They need all the help and support they can get.
They do.
At this point.
I didn't think they would after last week because it looked like Auburn was going to roll to an easy victory.
Well, when it was 17-0, I was like, hold on, we still have to play the second half.
That's true.
And it was
too many turnovers.
4 turnovers.
The best defensive performance was by Robbie Ashford for laying the lumber on some defender. I saw a clip of that. He made the hardest tackle of the game, probably.
He had a great game.
He did.
It's a shame they lost, but it was coaching. It all comes right back down to coaching and some of this play calling. And it's easy to say that, but it's obvious at this point.
Yeah.
How much longer they have at Georgia?
All right, if you
kind of like that Meek game we mentioned.
Yeah. No, it's more closer to Brilliant Lynn. Or let's put Brilliant with Thompson together. That's how it's going to end up looking. Georgia did not look good last week.
No, they're going to be mad.
They are going to be
very mad about several things. Getting demoted behind Alabama again. Playing that bad. It was just an ugly game against Missouri.
Yeah, it was at Missouri, and that's always going to be a tough place to play. But, that's inexcusable for the #1 team to have to rally.
Should never come to
beat Missouri, who is probably, they could be the worst team in the SEC this year.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
they may play, so we'll find out.
Yeah, Vanderbilt and South Carolina are giving them a run for their money, but this is a strong SEC East.
Yeah, it is stronger than it's been in a while.
A lot stronger.
All right, so we're jumping into Zach's picks. You said you had 9 games this week?
I have 9 games, and I'm kind of breaking the rules by pulling in a non-conference game that's not the big game of the week. I'll get into that later. But the first game, probably not going to be close, but it's a conference game. Ole Miss, they did not look excellent last week. They're on the road in Nashville playing Vanderbilt. Ole Miss, 18-point favorites. I got Ole Miss steamrolling this one. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. They're undefeated, right?
They are undefeated.
They just won't get in their way.
Yeah, they're the number 9 team in the country. Vanderbilt, this is good for a Vanderbilt team. This is one of the better Vanderbilt teams you'll see. They could make a bowl game this year, maybe.
Birmingham, yeah.
They could make the Birmingham Bowl if Auburn's not there.
They won't be.
Yeah. Do you think Auburn's going to make bowl contention?
Absolutely. No, I don't.
It's going to be a rough season. But, hey, congratulations to Vanderbilt. Next game, Missouri, who we've already talked about a little bit. They are on the road to the Swamp to play Florida, who had to play Sunday because of hurricane problems. Florida is only an 11-point favorite.
Wow.
Is that because Florida's bad or just because Missouri looked good last week?
It must be, I think, because Florida's bad.
Yeah.
They aren't very good. I still don't know how they beat Utah at this point.
I mean, and you see Utah, after that, I thought, well, Utah's just going to be bad this year. No, Utah's a good team.
Yeah, they should have won that game. They had a chance.
This is just another crazy college football season.
Typical.
Yeah, I mean, there are those games that you just can't explain. I mean, you're not going to try to because it's just impossible. I got Florida winning by, I would say, 3 touchdowns.
I got Florida, though. I think it'll be maybe 10 points.
Yeah, Missouri will keep it close. Florida's 11-point favorite. Missouri could keep it close for a little bit. But, I mean, Missouri's probably going to be wore out from taking Georgia last week down to the wire.
I know. That hurt, really.
Next game is maybe a sneaky good matchup. It's in the SEC East, South Carolina, traveling to Lexington to take on Kentucky. Kentucky, they were ranked 7th last week. They lose to Ole Miss by 3 fumbles in Ole Miss territory, driving 3 times, lose the ball 3 times. Kentucky's a 10.5-point favorite.
Wow, they really. Speaking of teams that should have won.
Yeah,
just unbelievable.
Kentucky tried. They tried very hard to let Ole Miss win that last game.
I think they'll bounce back.
I think they'll be very focused this week. I got Kentucky winning big. Next game is going to be a sneaky good game. It's Arkansas on the road at Mississippi State. Mississippi State 8-point favorite. Here's the question. Arkansas off of 2 losses. Are they mad or are they just beat up from last week?
I think they're beat up.
So do I.
And I really wanted to pick them. I mean, but they've been through so much already.
Yeah, you don't see good teams losing 3 straight games. But, I mean, this just seems like a very tough game. This kind of game, Mississippi State, this kind of game they would lose. But I don't think they're going to. I've got them winning by about 5. They're 8-point favorites.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah.
All right, here's a good game for you. It's the Red River Shootout. That is the game that I was kind of breaking the rules with. This is going to be a good game. They're both 3-2. They're evenly matched. Texas is a 7-point favorite. Oklahoma, 2-game skid like Arkansas. Texas, they took Alabama to the wire. Other than that, really not a whole lot to show for.
Lost to Texas Tech.
Yeah, you lose to Texas Tech by, I think it was overtime. They lose 37-34.
But Oklahoma, the way they looked, I've got to take Texas. Oklahoma last week, I mean, TCU hammered them, and then they lost last week.
Yeah. That's just, this is going to be, I think, a bounce-back game for Oklahoma, though. I mean,
really?
You don't see good teams losing 3 straight games, like I said. I cannot fathom them losing this 3rd straight. I've got Oklahoma in an upset.
Wow, there will be. I'm taking Texas in that.
All right, this is college game day is going to be there, and you would not expect it normally. TCU, who we've already mentioned, beat Oklahoma last week. They're on the road to Lawrence, Kansas to take on the undefeated Kansas Jayhawks. And no, we're not talking basketball here, still football. Kansas, they're having a magical season. What do you think about Kansas?
I can't believe it. Last week, Iowa State it was kind of like Kentucky. They just could not make the right call. They were just going to lose.
They had
to lose. 14 to 11?
It was 14-11, and Iowa State missed 3 chip shot field goals.
Yeah.
They should have won that. Maybe it's this crazy Kansas factor.
I would love to see. I did take TCU, but I would like to see Kansas.
TCU 7-point favorites, like their fellow Texas school, the Longhorns. I've got an upset here too. I've got Kansas. I mean, college game days in town. It's the big game. When it's the major game, this is the game that might define your whole season. You either choke or you show up focused. I think Kansas is going to show up focused.
Wow, that would be nice.
All right, here's one that I know you've got interest in. And last week you said when things get ugly, you mow the grass. Your grass might be getting a trim this week. It is Auburn on the road to take on Georgia between the hedges. Georgia, 30-point favorite.
It's unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, Auburn just... That seems a bit much.
It does.
But if you've seen them...
That's true.
They're not going to... Auburn will score 7, maybe 10.
Auburn, I think, is going to put up points when the game's already over.
It'll be, I can see 40-10. That would be the 30.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'm going to say it is going to be a 35-7, 38-10. You know, 28-point game. They're not going to cover because it's just astronomical, and Georgia's offense has been
an SEC game.
Kind of bad. Stetson Bennett, you'd think he was going to look a lot better this year. I mean, he didn't look excellent last year, but he still won the national championship. Started the season off looking great, and he's fizzled out. So I've got Georgia winning it by 28, and that's, it's weird to say a 28-point win is a little close, but I still think it is. And
I would take that right now.
Oh, I'm sure you would. Last game is kind of a big game for Alabama, like we said. Bryce Young is banged up. He's got an AC joint sprain in his shoulder. He's day-to-day questionable to play against Texas A&M. Alabama, 24-point favorite over the Aggies. This game would not normally be big because A&M is 3-2. They've looked very bad. They have looked terrible this year, especially last week's game to Mississippi State. Granted, it was on the road, but real inexcusable losses. Jimbo, people are calling for his firing, even though he's got a $95 million buyout.
And we thought Gus Malzahn was bad.
Yeah, we thought that was a buyout.
That's nothing compared to this.
Before the season, I didn't think we'd have to worry about Jimbo Fisher's buyout being questioned.
Everybody's got it out there now.
Yeah, and Alabama, like I said, 24-point favorite. Do you think Bryce Young is going to play?
I think he will play. I really do.
I don't. I think they're going. I think they're going to sit him out, and if things get rough, they might put him in. Or if Jalen Milroe gets hurt, then it's.
That would be bad.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Don't even bring that up.
If Milroe gets hurt and Bryce Young is still out, it is the freshman Ty Simpson in there.
Well, I'm sure he's a 5-star.
He's a 5-star, of course. Yeah, third-string quarterback.
Absolutely.
Would you take Alabama's third string over Auburn's first string?
Him against Ashford will be a tough call.
I
would take him over everybody else there.
Definitely.
But I might well go Ashford right now.
Okay, yeah, because Ashford, he can block, he can tackle, now he
had a
can
good
throw.
game last week. Yeah.
He had a very good game
Now, before
last
that,
week.
probably not.
I've got Alabama winning this one pretty handily. I think it doesn't matter who the starting quarterback is when you've got running backs like that, receivers like that. And this is a good backup quarterback for Alabama. Milroe is.
Yeah, he really impressed last week. I mean, that place was going crazy. It got close, and Alabama just bam. He's gone, and that changed the whole game.
Yes, that did.
That long touchdown run.
When you're getting sacked, Saban said if Bryce Young starts, the one thing he'd have to tell him is do not force anything. When you're going down and you're already down, don't try to throw the ball and sprain your shoulder. Just let things happen. Run out of bounds. Throw it away before you're in a position to get sacked. I've got Alabama winning big. Don't think Bryce is going to start, but, I think this is going to get ugly, especially after what happened in the offseason between Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban.
That's been brought up a lot again this week.
It has, and before the season, I was looking at October 8th, big game. Probably a couple of undefeated teams now.
It's a shame. They couldn't hold up there.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the game of the year, and this was supposed to be heading into the season. Everybody thought College Game Day was going to be here.
Yep.
To say they're going to be in Kansas instead of this game is kind of rough. But like I said, Alabama big. You think the same?
I do. They're going to cover. It'll be ugly. It'll be a lot like the last couple games we've seen there.
Yeah. And that's all the college games I've got.
That's it for Zach's picks?
That is, all 9 of them.
All right, so we're looking for another great week of football. I'm sure we'll have some upsets and some crazy other things happening. But for Zach McCullar, I'm Johnathan Bentley, and thank you for watching the PrepZone Show 2022 presented. Let's start that over. For Zach McCullar, I'm Johnathan Bentley. Thanks for watching the PrepZone Show 2022 presented by Bevill State, and we'll see you next week.